Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about another way to write loops. And here in this lesson, after finishing the for loops in a previous lesson, we're going to focus on while loops or while conditions. So there are different types of loops that we can employ to write certain number of blocks to print certain number of blocks and execute certain number of codes, and one of them was for loops and the other one is while loop. So here the structure of a while loop would be like we say while and then the condition, and then we enter the executive part, and this is the place where we write down our code. So let's start with an example. I think it would be easier to grasp the idea when we make an example. So here previously we used to go through the for loop. So if we want to write a number to write a program that prints us number 1 to 5, we had to write like for loops, something like this. Let me just type it down. Int I equals 1, I equal smaller equal 5, I plus plus, and then we could say okay, print I and del. So this is how we used to print number 1 to 5 previously. However, if we want to do the same thing but using while loop, we can break down these three parts of the for loop into different parts. So first we initialize the integer number named num as to be 1, and then we start the while loop. So we start the while loop, and in the parentheses we only write down one part of the condition, which is as long as num smaller equal 5. So the condition would be something like this. So we repeat the while as long as num is smaller, less than or equal 5. Then we enter the loop. So we print out the num, and here we are incrementing the value of num ourselves. So previously we used to put this part in the parentheses, but we are putting the uh, increment part inside the loop. And previously we used to initialize the integer in the parentheses, and we are initializing it before the loop. And then we are printing the the num using this cout function, and also the second part of the parenthesis for the for loops is exactly printed here. So the reason why we may need to use, for example, while loops to execute our code is because a while loop in C++ is it can help us to repeatedly execute a block of code like similar to the for loop. However, the while loop is more straightforward and often is used when the number of iteration is not known beforehand. So when we don't know how many iteration do we need, we simply use a while loop and we say as long as the num less than or equal 5, just do this for us, and then change the value of num so we can increase it or decrease it as we want to see in this line. However, if we forget to write this part, it will become like an infinite loop because it is printing, for example, num equals 1, it enters the loop, it prints 1, and then it prints 1, and then it prints 1 forever until we stop the program because 1 is not being increased. So when we increase the value by 1 here, then the next time that it enters the loop, it's 2, then it's 3, etc. So let me just run the program and see how it works. Okay. So yeah. So here num equals 1, and when we want to go through the condition of the while loop, we say, okay, num equals 1. Num is less than or equal 5. Yeah, it passed the conditions, it enters the loop, it prints 1. Then it increased the value of num by 1, so num would be 2. Then it comes here again and checks the condition. 2 less than or equal 5, yes, enter, print, and then increased. So now it's 3. 3 smaller or equal 5, yes, enter, increase, it will be 4. And then again until it's 5. When it's 5, it enters for the last time, and when we increase the value, it will become 6, and 6 is not less than or equal 5. So therefore, it does not enter this loop again, and the program is finished. So this is how while loop would work. And in the next sessions, we are going to do some coding exercises using while loops, so it would be easier for you to see it in different examples and start making it understood for yourself and start coding it yourself. Thanks for watching.